Imagine finding out that the very first thing you put into your body tomorrow morning, before you have even fully opened your eyes, before you have made a single conscious decision about your health that day, is quietly narrowing the arteries carrying oxygen to your heart and brain. Does that sound dramatic? After 50, I am sorry to tell you it is not. It is the most common conversation I have in my clinic, and it always begins the same way. A woman in her early 60s sits across from me, her hands folded in her lap, and she says, "But doctor, I ate so carefully. I did everything right. How did this happen?" And I have to look her in the eye and tell her that the breakfast she trusted, the one she ate every single morning because she believed it was the responsible choice, is exactly what put her in my office.
My name is Dr. Evan Jace. I have spent more years than I care to count watching men and women over 50 walk into emergency rooms with chest pain, with sudden breathlessness, with a numbness in the left arm they tried to ignore for a week, and every one of them tells me some version of the same story. They were doing what they thought was right. They cut back on red meat. They switched to the spread with the heart on the label. They drank the orange juice their mother poured for them when they were 8 years old. They ate the cereal that has been in the kitchen cabinet since their children were small. And somewhere along the way, nobody sat them down and explained that the body after 50 does not forgive the breakfast that the body at 30 barely noticed. So today, I am going to do what your 10-minute annual physical did not have time to do. I am going to walk you through 4 specific breakfast foods that are almost certainly sitting in your kitchen right now, and I am going to show you exactly how each one is narrowing the arteries that keep you alive.
Before we begin, you need to understand one thing about the cardiovascular system after the 5th decade of life. The arteries lose elasticity. The endothelium, which is the delicate inner lining of every blood vessel in your body, becomes more vulnerable to injury. Repair slows. Plaque, once it begins to form, accumulates faster than it used to. According to the American Heart Association, cardiovascular disease remains the #1 cause of death for adults over 50 in this country, and it is not even close. The body that forgave you at 35 does not forgive you at 55. That is not pessimism. That is anatomy. And the most dangerous part is that the damage is silent. There is no pain when an artery narrows by 20%. There is no warning siren when the endothelial lining begins to scar. By the time the body finally speaks, it is usually speaking in the language of an emergency room.
So let us begin with the first food, the one sitting on your kitchen table tomorrow morning, disguised as the most responsible choice you make all day. It is 14 minutes past 7 in the morning. The coffee machine is humming. You reach into the cabinet for the cereal box that has been there for as long as you can remember. The bowl is the same bowl you have used for 30 years. You pour the milk. You lift the spoon before your brain has fully woken up. This ritual feels disciplined. It feels age-appropriate. It feels like what a responsible adult over 50 does. And it is the first quiet assault on your arteries of the day. Most commercial breakfast cereals, even the ones marketed with whole grains and heart symbols on the front of the box, deliver a concentrated dose of refined carbohydrates and added sugars directly into a bloodstream that is not eaten in 8 hours. Within 15 minutes of that first spoonful, your blood glucose spikes. Your pancreas releases a surge of insulin. And here is the part nobody explained to you. That repeated postprandial glucose spike, morning after morning, year after year, damages the endothelial lining of your arteries through a process called endothelial dysfunction. Think of the endothelium as the smooth, slick inner surface of a garden hose. As long as that surface stays intact, blood flows cleanly. The moment that surface is scratched, roughened, or inflamed, plaque begins to embed itself into the wall. There is a term you need to learn, and you need to burn it into your head. Advanced glycation end products. I will translate that immediately. Sugar molecules permanently bonded to the proteins that keep your blood vessels flexible. Imagine syrup hardening on the rim of a glass that nobody washes. That is what is happening inside your arteries every time you eat a breakfast that detonates your blood sugar within 20 minutes. The supple, elastic pipes you were born with slowly become brittle, narrow, and unforgiving And after 50, when insulin sensitivity is already declining and glucose clearance is already slowing, this process accelerates.
Be honest with yourself right now. How many mornings this week did you start with a cereal that has more than 6 grams of sugar per serving? Comment the real number. Not the number you wish it was, the real one. Because that number tells you exactly how much silent damage you have been accepting as routine. The fix is not complicated. Slow carbohydrates that release glucose gradually. Steel-cut oats cooked with cinnamon. Plain Greek yogurt with a handful of walnuts. 2 eggs with sautéed vegetables. Anything that does not spike insulin within 20 minutes of the first bite. Your arteries will know the difference within weeks. Now we move to the second food. And this one is going to surprise you. Because for 30 years, you were told it was the responsible choice. The cardiologist-approved swap. The thing you replaced butter with because the poster in your doctor's office said you should. Look at your refrigerator tomorrow morning. There is almost certainly a tub of soft spread sitting on the door, with a heart on the label and a cholesterol claim printed on the side. You spread it on your toast every morning. You did so because you believed you were protecting your heart. Here is the confession your annual physical did not have time to make. Many commercial spreads are built on industrially processed seed oils. These oils are extracted with chemical solvents, refined at high temperatures, deodorized, and stored under fluorescent lights on supermarket shelves for months. The polyunsaturated fats in these oils are extraordinarily fragile.
They oxidize. And when oxidized fat enters your bloodstream, it reacts with the cholesterol particles already circulating, transforming them into the small, dense, sticky kind that embed themselves into the artery wall like rust eating into the inside of a pipe nobody can see. Some of these spreads still contain trace amounts of partially hydrogenated fats, and even the ones that have been reformulated still carry the oxidation byproducts of the refining process. The American Heart Association itself has revised its position on processed fats multiple times over the past 2 decades, and every revision has moved in the same direction. After 50, your liver's capacity to clear oxidized lipids declines. The cumulative oxidative burden on your cardiovascular system rises. Endothelial repair, which was already keeping up with daily damage in your 30s, simply cannot keep up anymore. Every morning the spread goes onto the toast, you are adding a small amount of oxidized fat to a vascular system that is losing its ability to clean itself.
How long has the tub of spread been in your refrigerator? 2 months? 6? Comment it. Because that timeline matters more than you have ever been told. Every week that container has been sitting in your fridge, the oxidation has been climbing. The fix is something your great-grandmother would recognize. Extra virgin olive oil at room temperature. A small piece of real butter from grass-fed cows. Half an avocado mashed onto your toast. Fats your body has recognized for thousands of years, not fats invented in a refinery in the last 50. The third food. This one is the most innocent-looking thing on your entire kitchen counter. It does not even look like food in the way the others do. It looks like a vitamin. It looks like sunshine in a glass. It is the small juice glass next to your plate, the carton of orange juice from the refrigerator, the pour that feels like a gift of the day. And it is one of the most concentrated arterial assaults you can deliver to a body over 50. Here is what nobody told you. When you eat a whole orange, the fiber in the pulp and the membrane slows the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. Your liver receives the fructose gradually, over 45 minutes to an hour, and it has time to process it cleanly. When you drink a glass of orange juice, you have removed the fiber. You have removed the water volume. You have removed the chewing time.
You have taken the sugar from approximately 3 to 4 oranges, and you have flooded your liver with it in under 15 minutes. The liver has no choice. It cannot process that much fructose that quickly using its normal pathways, so it converts the excess into triglycerides. Those triglycerides enter circulation, and those triglycerides deposit themselves into the very arterial walls you are trying to protect. Repeat that ritual every morning for 10 years, and you have a condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. You have elevated triglycerides on every blood panel, and you have a steady stream of small, dense LDL particles that drive atherosclerosis after 50. The cruelest part is the disguise. Most commercial juices, even those labeled 100% pure, no added sugar, not from concentrate, still deliver more concentrated sugar per glass than many sodas. The label is technically honest. The biological effect is catastrophic. After 50, when insulin resistance climbs and the liver becomes less efficient at handling fructose, that morning glass of juice is doing more damage than most people will ever realize until they see a triglyceride number on a lab report that frightens them.
How many years have you been starting your morning with a small glass of juice? Because your mother taught you it was healthy. Commented, be honest. The fix is the simplest of all four. Eat the whole fruit, never drink it. One whole orange has roughly the same total sugar, but it arrives with fiber, with water, with regulated absorption. If your morning ritual demands a glass of something, make it water with a slice of lemon, or unsweetened green tea. Your liver and your arteries will thank you in ways you cannot yet measure. And now we arrive at the fourth food, the climax, the one that carries not one, but two simultaneous assaults on the cardiovascular system. The one you have been told for decades is the indulgent reward of a slow Saturday morning. The smell fills the house first, bacon in the pan, the sizzle, the eggs cooked in the leftover fat, a slice of ham or sausage on the side, toast soaking up everything underneath, the newspaper, the coffee. The whole scene feels earned. It feels traditional. It feels like the kind of breakfast that a working man or woman over 50 has the right to enjoy on the weekend. And this breakfast, more than any other on this list, is the one most likely to put you on a stent table before the decade is out. The first attack is the processed meat itself.
Bacon, sausage, ham, breakfast salami, any cured meat that arrives in a package with a long shelf life contains sodium nitrite as a preservative. When that meat is cooked at high temperature, the nitrites react with amino acids in the meat to form nitrosamines. And when fat from that meat hits a hot pan, heterocyclic amines are formed in the char. The International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified processed meats as Group 1 carcinogens, alongside tobacco and asbestos. But the cancer risk is only half the conversation. These same compounds directly injure the endothelial lining of your arteries. They promote inflammation in the vessel wall. They accelerate plaque formation. Every Saturday morning bacon, every weekday slice of ham on the toast, is a small chemical scrape across the inside of arteries that are already losing their capacity to heal. The second attack arrives in the same bite.
The combination of saturated fat from the processed meat with the high heat oxidation of the cooking oil and the egg yolks fried in that same fat creates a postprandial lipemic spike unlike almost any other meal. Within 2 to 4 hours of finishing that breakfast, your bloodstream is carrying a measurably thickened, inflammation-promoting load of fat particles. In a 25-year-old body, that load clears in a few hours and the system reset. In a 55-year-old body, that load lingers longer, clears less completely, and contributes to the cumulative inflammatory burden that drives atherosclerosis. The European Society of Cardiology has documented this postprandial inflammation in study after study. The Cleveland Clinic has been warning about processed meat consumption in adults over 50 for over a decade. And now imagine the worst-case morning, the one most American households over 50 live through more often than they would admit. The cereal from Food 1, the toast with the spread from Food 2, the juice from Food 3, the bacon and eggs from Food 4. Every mechanism stacks. Every assault overlaps. The glucose spike feeds the oxidative damage. The oxidized fats feed the endothelial scarring. The fructose feeds the triglycerides. The nitrosamines feed the inflammation. You are not having breakfast. You are conducting a slow, coordinated chemical attack on a cardiovascular system that loses approximately 1% of its repair capacity every year after 50. How many weekends in the last month started with bacon, sausage, or ham? Be honest with yourself before you commented. Because the number you are about to type is the number of times you ran a double mechanism arterial assault through a body that is no longer young enough to absorb it. And here is the part I need you to hear clearly. This is the one category that does not negotiate. After 50, processed meats are not something to reduce. They are something to eliminate. Not most weeks, every week. If breakfast protein is the priority, and after 50 it absolutely should be. 2 whole eggs cooked gently in a small amount of olive oil, alongside sautéed spinach or mushrooms or peppers, delivers everything your cardiovascular system actually needs without a single matrosamine, without a single oxidized seed oil byproduct, without a single sugar spike. Now let me give you the hope, because fear without direction is paralysis, and I did not record this for you to feel paralyzed. I recorded it so you would walk into your kitchen tomorrow morning with different eyes. The endothelial lining begins to repair within weeks of removing the daily assault. Inflammation markers, when measured in blood work, decline measurably in as little as 4 to 6 weeks. Blood pressure responds. Triglycerides fall. Studies at major academic medical centers have documented modest arterial improvement in patients in their 60s and even 70s who did nothing more dramatic than change what they ate before 9 in the morning. The body, even after 50, even after 60, even after 70, retains a remarkable capacity to repair the daily damage you have been unknowingly inflicting on it, if you simply stop inflicting it. So tomorrow morning, when you walk into your kitchen, here is what changes.
The cereal box stays in the cabinet. You make steel-cut oats or eggs with vegetables instead. The tub of spread comes off the refrigerator door. You replace it with extra virgin olive oil or a small piece of real butter or half an avocado. The juice carton stays closed. You eat the whole fruit, and if you need a glass of something, you pour water with lemon or unsweetened tea. And the bacon, sausage, and ham, after 50, leave your kitchen entirely. Not for a month. Permanently. These are not lifestyle overhauls. These are 4 specific morning-by-morning decisions. The same kind of small decisions that, repeated across the next 10 years, will be the difference between a quiet retirement and an emergency room.
I want to leave you with one thought. Your heart has been pumping for over 50 years without a single day off. Every single beat, even the ones you slept through, even the ones you spent angry, even the ones you spent in fear, was a quiet act of service. Your heart has never asked you for anything. It has never sent you an invoice. It has never demanded gratitude. Tomorrow morning, for the first time in a long time, give it something different. Not because you have to, because it has earned it. I am Dr. Evan Jace, and I am asking one thing of you before you close this video. Think of one specific person in your life over 50 who needs to hear this. The husband who still eats bacon every Saturday morning. The wife who has been pouring orange juice since the children were small. The brother who has not been to the cardiologist in 5 years. The friend who keeps telling you he feels a strange pressure behind his breastbone that passes before he can mention it. Send this video to that person right now, before you forget. Before life pulls you back into the next task of the day. This is not optional. This is the kind of thing that in 5 years, when they are still alive and well, they will thank you for. And in some cases, it will be the reason they are still here at all. Be well. Eat carefully tomorrow morning. And do not let another decade of breakfast quietly close the pipes that have been carrying life to every organ in your body since the day you were born.